Welcome to Strategy Sunday. Today's map that we're discussing is Strait. Strait is a map that you're going to see until about tier 6. I've had it in my tier 6 Monaghan. Never had it any further higher, but I'm not sure if it's locked until tier 6. Not the hardest map to play, but there's some tricks and tips and a few mistakes that people make that I see all the time. So, hope everybody finds it useful. Then, before I go, big, massive thank you to TC Freer, and I want to personally say thank you very much for the conversations that we had during the week, as well as the shout out on his Saturday stream. Gained a couple of new followers, and I'm super thankful. People, head over to Twitch, TC Freer, subscribe. Brilliant bloke. And again, tell somebody you love them, give somebody a hug today. Fuck over it. Have a fantastic weekend further, people. Take care. Cheers. Right, so we're looking at the map Strait. So Strait, you're going to see right up until about tier 6. I've played this map in my Monaghan, which is a tier 6 DD, and then it's usually 4 to 6s or 5 to 6s, but you'll see it through the lower tiers right up to 6. I've not seen it in 7s and upwards, so that's why we're covering it. It's one of the more newer player friendly maps, and the maps you're going to see when you are a newer player, and that's what these initial episodes are. So you've got 3 caps there, and there. Okay, so you got 3 caps. It's not an exact science, and depends on where you spawn and the map composition. You should have 1 or 2 CVs. The lower tier CVs, tier 4s, you're going to see a lot in this map, and they're a bit of a pain. So let's cover the CVs first. If you're in a CV, you're going to spawn somewhere here, fairly close. Now, one of the strategies Louise and myself discussed, if you're a CV, try get some island hiding going. Possibly there, so that sort of thing, and then go to town on whatever ships there are. You're going to see quite a few battleships in the open water on the south and the north side. Let's have a look. Okay, DDs. So CVs shouldn't be too difficult to play here. Just move yourself from the open water to a little bit more sheltered area, and hope your autopilot doesn't screw up completely. Now, if you're a DD, your first thoughts would be get somewhere around there. If you're coming in, somewhere around there. And the center one is sometimes not the easiest one to cap, because especially if you spawn on the sides, you've got to come either around like this or from the other side. That going around here, that sort of route, I find those routes are incredibly slow and takes you a little bit too long. The DD on this side is going to have an advantage. They just shoot straight in. And then there's a big contest. So, my advice personally, if you like playing DDs and you have a stealthy DD, and at tier 4 to 6, the DDs aren't super stealthy, avoid the middle cap. Unless you have great concealment, then you can try for it, but there's not enough space to move, and it's a bit of a death trap, especially if CV see you. What I try and do here, especially if I'm on this sort of left side, move in, point my bow out again so I can accelerate. You're going to see a whole bunch of battleships lemming, and we'll discuss the battleships in a second, and you can torpedo them. Same here. I wouldn't try and contest immediately. Some people get behind this island or that island over there. That island actually has a cool feature. It's like a little castle, etc. But you are incredibly restricted in your movements there. One of the other things you can try as a DD, and this counts for both sides, is try and go to the edges and spot. Just spot for now. Don't try and contest the caps, especially the south cap. The south cap is a death trap unless you know exactly what you're doing. North cap can be easier. go in either side torpedo. Right, let's look at what you should do as a cruiser. So, as a cruiser, I see a lot of cruisers try and head to the islands, thinking that's going to give them some sort of false sense of security. Here, especially that gap, I don't know. Yesterday there was a Königsberg in my match, and I absolutely smashed him apart. Why I said, especially if you're on the left side at the south here and you're spawning, you're going to get a lot of cruisers moving in, sort of like that. Turning like that, they're going to spot you and they're going to annihilate you. From the right side, same. You will have cruisers. They're going to do that, and they'll spot the DDs and fairly easily take them out. So, not my recommended strategy here. But if you must, try and play fairly safe against the battleships on both sides. You can very easily get deleted. I mean, you really can. So, if you have the range, let's say you're in a Kirov, stay more here. Try and move like that. You can cover this cap as well as that cap. Stay out of this area. If it's a cruiser, it's a big no-go. Unless you're right at the end of the match. Same there. You end up in those areas and you've got no shooting positions due to the heights of these islands, etc. If one flank has completely collapsed and you need to move to the other flank to assist, then you can do it. Otherwise, stay out of there. It's pointless. North side, what I like doing as a cruiser, skirt that island. There's always a battleship coming down here. If I'm on a cruiser here, this is sort of the route I take. And again, I can look at what's trying to take this cap if it's spottable. There are always some stupid people that try and go in there. And you can get great fire here. And it allows sometimes you don't. Do not turn that way. Shells will come in, citadel you, and fuck you up. Hit the brakes. Point your bow in and just reverse and hope they don't citadel you through the nose. But you're a much, much smaller target. So like I said, on the right side here, I like to go out, play along these edges. Don't edge surf, but there's a lot of open water that you can do. You can do some interesting things with. So it's not the most difficult map to play. Just use a little bit of sound strategy. Okay. Last but not least, battleships. Now let's see what should you do as a battleship. Stay the fuck away from the sides. Guys, why I say stay away from the sides, this is a death trap. And I don't mean it as a death trap as in if you end up there, you're going to get exploded. The moment you overrun a flank, you are so far out of this area, it takes you minutes to get into this game over here. You have great range. Do something like that. Shoot across. If you're on this side, I always try and move in, or I try and get somewhere here. And again, it depends on the battleship that I'm playing, the range, if it has a spotter plane, etc. Same for this. I see so many battleships, especially here when they spawn there, they just go straight in. When I pointed out the DD here that's going to torpedo you, you're in for a world of hurt. As a battleship, I like to support one or two cruisers, especially if a cruiser has hydro. And I go with the cruiser a little bit there. Also, yesterday I had a match with a byhand that was here. He sailed like that. I couldn't catch up to him. And he was giving me just enough angle to bounce all my shells from the Julio Cesar. And one of the DDs that he had on this side came past this island. I'd overextended. And he torpedoed me. Very, very good strategy. So, to keep this video fairly short, fairly to the point, I'd like to point out, as DDs, try not to contend for the center cap immediately. You can try and take a cap here. This cap is sometimes easier to take. If nobody goes, let's say there's 3 minutes into the game and this cap has turned and this cap has turned. Let's say red has a green has C, and this one is still gray. I think, how does it look? Like a diamond. You could go there, because after 3 minutes somebody should have reached there and tried to get the cap. So simple positioning on this map. I see way too many battleships. Battleships going in here. You have no area to maneuver. Now you've gone there, you've gone in there, or you've gone down there to there because there's an overwhelming force and you're trying to get away. There's a sneaky little DD. He's going to torpedo you. This area on the map looks big. When you play the map, it's not a big map. He's going to fuck your shit up. Excuse my French, but same. Not so much the same for here. You can use this. That is a very last effect escape route. By the time you're using that escape route, you've pretty much lost the match. I'm just stating it out there. But you can use it. I can think of 2 games in 6,000 games that I've played that I've gone down that straight. Like I said, I like going here. I like going here. I can shoot over everything here. I can play with the cruisers over there. I can support whatever's happening over there fairly quickly. Same here. I can support what's ever happening there. If I spawn with a battleship up here, let's take my Julius Caesar. I want to go out here. Kind of hold angle. I can shoot at these cruisers. I can shoot at the battleships. Unless you're getting heavily pushed. Then you call for backup of the DD there and you can torpedo in. I don't want to see battleships here. That's a death trap for you. And again, you're going to have a destroyer. He's going to sneak in here and probably be somebody like me in a Monaghan. And I torpedo you and you have no place to go. So, simple, easy tips to play this map. The center is very much a death trap for big ships, cruisers and battleships. If you have double CVs, battleships, stay out of this. Stay out of this until, let's say, halfway, maybe 2/3 into the game, and you can see one side's collapsing and pushing through. Then, of course. But going straight in there in the first 3 minutes in your battleship is no, it's just don't. If you're in a stealthy cruiser, you could attempt it if it's one of those odd matchmaking. And I've seen it happen lately, 7 versus 7 at tier 5, or it's just cruisers and battleships. You could, but in normal 12 versus 12, cruisers stay out of there for your first half to 2/3. Only when the flanks have been secured on both sides do you go in there. Otherwise, they are torpedoes and they'll just annihilate you. Or the CV will catch you there. There's not enough space to move and you are going to get utterly shattered. Okay, I wanted to say utterly shat on, but okay, let me use the words. You're going to get utterly shat on. So, take heed. Enjoy this map. It's one of the fun maps to play in this game. And we'll be back next Sunday with the next map. Take care. Cheers.